Center was created with the future in mind. Throughout their history, sisters have kept records of their lives and ministry. But in 2005, as the 25 regional communities began the process of reconfiguration, Mercy Archivists began to discuss the possibility of housing their records in one location. The facility that they envisioned would be more cost-effective than maintaining multiple repositories, and have adequate staffing, advanced technology, and a climate-controlled environment for storing records. This center would include exhibition and research space that would create a place for learning and understanding for both internal and external audiences. Mercy Heritage Center is designed with 2 levels. The first level is designated for archival storage, staff offices, and workspace. The second level includes artifact storage, a main lobby, a room for research or meetings, an exhibition hall for potential future heritage projects, and 2 education spaces. Between 2011 and 2014, collections of archival material and artifacts were moved to Mercy Heritage Center from the 25 former regional communities, as well as records of the Union, Federation, and Institute Office of the Sisters of Mercy, Macaulay Institute, and Mercy Action. Records created after the reconfiguration are collected and held at 6 community archives.
The mission of Mercy Heritage Center is to preserve and relate the story of the Institute of the Sisters of Mercy of the Americas. As a research and educational resource for the general public, it endeavors to illustrate the vibrant and relevant impact of the Sisters of Mercy on society and inspire visitors to make personal commitments to similar values. To accomplish this mission, Mercy Heritage Center houses an archives, educational and research space, as well as space designated for potential future heritage projects. These related yet separate components of MHC will allow visitors different points of access to Mercy history. Mercy Heritage Center actively collects current documentation from the Institute office and through the Institute Archivist Committee collaborates with community archivists in their collection of records at the community level.
Mercy Heritage Center's archives house the historical and administrative records of the Institute of the Sisters of Mercy of the Americas. It contains 34 collections from former regional communities and institute-wide organizations of the Sisters of Mercy. The center holds over 5,000 linear feet of records that date largely from 1843 to present day. The records document ministries like schools, hospitals, and other services. They also document the histories of individual sisters and the story of the former congregations and present communities themselves. The collection's records come from all over the United States and parts of Africa, South and Central America, Micronesia, India, and Southeast Asia. Record types include documents, books, photographic prints, audiovisual materials, and artifacts. The Mercy Heritage Center's archives have over 150 plus film reels, 2,000 plus VHS tape, 2,000 plus audio cassette tape, 500 plus CDs and DVDs, 300 plus audio tape, 100 plus vinyl records, and a number of unique formats like U-matic tape, Betacam, Betamax, wire recordings, floppy disk, and mini DVs. Mercy Heritage Center houses numerous manuscripts, letters, and printed materials, along with a rough estimate of over 100,000 photographs and over 100 glass slides and plates. Mercy Heritage Center is also beginning to establish workflows for keeping, preserving, and making accessible digital records for digitized historical materials and born digital materials.
Some materials at Mercy Heritage Center tell the stories of previous eras. Examples of these records include Annals written by Mother Mary Baptist Russell, a hymn book composed by Mother Alexis Donnelly from Providence, photographs of orphans in Maine, and a scrapbook from a Detroit sister who marched at Selma. This documentation represents a significant part of American history that has the potential to enrich scholarship and serve to further connect the public with the Sisters of Mercy. Other types of records facilitate the administrative work that moves the Institute forward: meeting minutes, planning documents, financial records, and property information. These records, both historic and recently created, help staff members across the Institute do their jobs more efficiently. Since Mercy Heritage Center serves as the Institute archives, working with Institute leadership and staff to document current activities and decisions is a major function in this area.
Outside the archival repository, Mercy Heritage Center also has significant artifact holdings. The artifacts, commonly called three-dimensional objects, primarily consist of textiles, clothing, framed objects, artwork, and decorative arts like furniture, dinnerware, and pottery. These items are cataloged and preserved for future exhibition. Exhibition of these artifacts will perhaps be part of a heritage museum component in the future. Although development of the heritage museum component is still being explored, some initial visioning and discussion has taken place. A heritage museum space would be a way for an entirely different audience to access and learn about Mercy history. Through engaging in interactive exhibits, audiences ranging from sisters to casual visitors to school children would be able to learn about the Sisters of Mercy of the Americas. Current use of the exhibition space is devoted to small, temporary exhibits. Our current exhibit ties into the national observance of the sesquicentennial of the American Civil War by describing the role of the Sisters of Mercy as nurses during this period. Mercy Heritage Center held several pilot events, an ILC reception, a public opening featuring the Civil War reenactors, including a sister, and a field trip for 2 local Catholic schools. Lessons from these events will help create a model for future planning.
Since the mission of Mercy Heritage Center is to relate the story of the Sisters of Mercy of the Americas, providing access to records for research purposes where appropriate is of primary importance. Mercy Heritage Center is open for research to scholars and the general public. Typical researchers include genealogists, former students, or individuals raised in Mercy institutions, authors, scholars, graduate and undergraduate students. Internal researchers include sisters working on specific projects, staff searching for evidence of decisions or material for use in a publication, or leadership seeking to reference prior planning documents. Most recently, records from the Institute collection have been used by authors Sister Doris Gottemoeller and Sister Denise Colgan as they write the story of the first 25 years of the Institute. Researcher access to historical materials is governed by specific guidelines for use and an access agreement. Researchers can access the collection in several ways. They can schedule an appointment for on-site research, or staff can provide remote access research assistance via email or phone for those who cannot visit us in person. Providing remote research assistance is a significant part of staff duties. Since 2011, when staff answered 20 reference inquiries, requests have grown in number, with staff answering 1,021 reference inquiries in 2014. Mercy Heritage Center also promotes education and access through exhibit space. Currently, a temporary exhibit, Civil War Sisters, is open to sisters and the general public to tour. We've even been able to open this exhibit to several schools for field trips. Beyond using the exhibit space for public tours and field trips, we additionally hope to develop other educational opportunities through programming. These programs could take many forms, including lecture series, immersive experiences for sisters in incorporation, book signings, and more. These programs would be based on particular strengths of the collections and be developed for specific audiences. For example, a lecture might be geared to a local or regional audience, while a virtual tour or program could be developed for sisters in retirement convents across the country. Educational programming will be a significant part of the future museum space.
Another avenue to promoting greater researcher access and educational opportunities can be found online. Right now, Mercy Heritage Center uses published finding aids, digital exhibits, and social media to promote access and education online. Communication statistics show that social media initiatives are leading more users to our webpage and directing more potential researchers to the Mercy Heritage Center. An online version of the Civil War Sisters exhibit was developed in coordination with our physical museum exhibit of the same name in an effort to expand upon what visitors could learn at the physical exhibit and to reach out to users who are not able to physically visit the Mercy Heritage Center. While our goal is to continue making digital exhibits in combination with physical museum exhibits when they develop, we also plan on solely making digital exhibits. Digital exhibits can be more flexible, customizable, and budget-friendly to create than physical exhibits. Our next temporary exhibit will be solely digital and will focus on the 25th anniversary of the creation of the Institute of the Sisters of Mercy of the Americas. One last notable accessibility goal we plan on initiating soon online is posting digital collections in a searchable database. These collections will contain frequently used or historically significant records, which will increase and ease researcher usage.
Since the archival collections were transferred from so many different locations with very different realities in terms of staffing, storage, and access, much of the early work at MHC involved the assessment of archival collections. This assessment revealed that, although care for the records was evident, many of the collections had significant barriers to access related to physical organization of the records and the description of that organization. As assistant archivist, a primary part of my duties became working with these collections to meet current professional standards. In some cases, this involves minor changes to enhance usability or long-term preservation. In these cases, our volunteers work on projects like rehousing materials, relabeling folders, and updating databases. Our undergraduate and graduate interns work on similar projects, including cataloging artifacts and cleaning, rehousing, and inventorying audiovisual materials under Emily's supervision. In other cases, I address the issues of particular collections myself, generally from the ground up, by following a processing plan based on the needs of the individual collection. Due to the large size of the collections at MHC, we anticipate that this work will take a number of years to complete.
As things progressed at Mercy Heritage Center, it became evident that special attention was needed for the large volume of digital and audiovisual records. As the digital records archivist, I primarily work on preserving, arranging, describing, and making accessible digital records. This includes working with the audiovisual materials like vinyl records, cassette tapes, film, and more to make sure they are physically stable enough to transfer into digital formats. I also make sure that once digitized, our digital records go through various workflows to ensure their stability, authenticity, accessibility, and preservation through storage. I must routinely check and change these workflows as technology changes to ensure we don't lose our digital records. I spend time purchasing and using various equipment and software that will make the workflows faster, safer, and to ensure an as perfect, authentic transfer as possible. Another main responsibility I have is to make select historical records accessible online for researchers. This includes making digital exhibits, digital collections, making our collection finding aids available online, and promoting and marketing the Mercy Heritage Center.
Since 2011, when collections began to arrive, Mercy Heritage Center has made great strides in meeting its mission of preserving and relating the story of the Sisters of Mercy. There are still many steps we can take to make these collections accessible and to make the history of mercy in the Americas a more well-known part of American history.